Welcome back to the Wrestling Nick Daily, everybody. It's me, Nick Hausman, and joining me at this time is my good, close, personal, longtime friend, Taylor Armstrong. Taylor, welcome back to the Wrestling Nick Daily.
Thank you, Nick. It's a pleasure to be here.
Taylor's more than just a friend of mine that we're having on the show. I maybe could have teed you up a little bit better. Prolific animator, Hollywood artisan, Taylor Armstrong. Taylor, for those that may not know you out there, you want to just kind of prattle off like some of the cool stuff that you're doing or have done to give people an idea of what it is that you do and who you are, kind of thing?
Sure. Thank you, Nick. Wonderful introductions. I've spent the last 15 years working in animation and visual effects for music videos, feature films, short films, television, IMAX, stereo conversion, advertising, Eminem, Nicki Minaj, Avengers, Spider-Man, Titanic re-releases, all your favorite superhero shows. I've started my own film festivals, and right now I'm venturing into the NFT world. So I've kind of touched all of the mediums in the past decade and a half, and we're just getting started.
All right. Well, you know what? Yeah. So you brought up the NFTs here. So you're working with Master Republic on these NFTs. I went over to the Slack feed for Wrestling Inc. to ask the team what questions they had for you. And I got shades of the same question over and over again, Taylor. And it's the question I'm sure you get all the time. What is an NFT? What is this thing that you are getting into the business of right now, Taylor?
So NFT stands for non-fungible token, which is more confusing terminology. It's basically just people see it so far just as a piece of art on technology, on the blockchain it's called. But the art is actually a visual representation tied to a block of data that lives eternally on networks, universally, infinitely. So what can be done with that block of data can unlock like membership privileges, something like akin to like a Patreon. But imagine if you could join a Patreon account and then trade that account with another Patreon or something even outside of that. So like you could trade into Kickstarter, right? But right now, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Patreon, they're all different platforms, and everything you do lives on there. If you buy a skin on Fortnite, it's stuck in Fortnite. Buy a skin in World of Warcraft, it's stuck in World of Warcraft. So what this whole revolution that's happening really accomplishes is it's the infrastructure at like a much broader scale to create and host these assets, track their the tangibility and the authenticity. And then there's also secondary marketplaces where then you can trade those. So say you had subscribed to someone's, something VIP fan club and you weren't a fan anymore, but rather than just canceling it, now you could like transfer that or send it to someone else as a gift, or, they've gone up in value. Now you can make a profit on it. I mean, the potential is limitless where we're really just at the beginning of it. But right now, kind of like the stereotype is it's just like a JPEG that lives on a website that someone can copy and paste. But it's really so much greater than that.
Okay, so like that's kind of what I'm getting at, because I like everybody, I'm trying to figure this thing out. You obviously have a deep understanding of it, so maybe to kind of put this in layman's terms. So let's pull up here. This is one of the NFTs. Here, I'll make it moving. Okay, so this is one of the NFTs right here. This is for Psychosis, right? Yeah. And it is 3 versions of Psychosis as 8-bit pixel characters kind of spinning in a little circle, right?
Yeah, but this is actually just an image I made for Twitter and social highlighting the 3 different versions of Psychosis that I'm working with. The actual NFT I'm not launching for a week from now, which will be September 9th. And that'll be a standalone version of one of these variations. And the importance of that in my project is the people that buy those, there's only going to be one version of each. The outcome of that purchase will go on to inform the rest of my collection. So the first round is these kind of one-of-one digital avatars, but the next round is actually a whole animated matchup I'm doing, pitting together the two most popular wrestlers from this round. And it'll be like a choose your own adventure narrative where you get all the pieces of a wrestling match and you get to put it together how you want, with only one version of multiple finishes. So, Nick, you may be able to put together a version where Psychosis wins, but I might put together a version where Black Taurus wins, and only I will own that version. And if anyone else that never needs to see it, I can show it to you in the metaverse or somewhere on the internet. But I'll own all my pieces of my match, and we can trade them like promoters would trade talent.
Okay, interesting. All right, so you have these 3 Psychosis avatars that, so they're one of one, meaning only 3 people will be able to purchase, and each avatar will just be sold a la carte 1-to-1 to another person, right?
Correct.
Okay, now with an NFT, like the 8-pixel image or GIF I have of Psychosis here, is the information attached to that image, is that what makes it an NFT? I guess that's what I'm trying to slow down to layman's terms. Like, it's a really cool GIF of Psychosis, but it's all of the back end stuff that's involved with it that gives it its worth. If you just made another GIF of this Psychosis thing and gave it to somebody and they went and checked and there was no information attached to it, that's where it loses or gains all of its value, correct?
Correct.
Okay, I kind of get that. Okay.
It's like a digital paper trail.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So if I buy one of these NFTs, where does it go? Where do I store I can't put it over here with my new DWL hat from Heels on Stars, right? Where do I put this NFT, Taylor?
Right now, especially the ones I'm launching, they're on the Wax blockchain, which is also the home of Garbage Pail Kids, Topps, Major League Baseball, and Funko Pop. That's where they're doing all of theirs. So it's going to go into your Wax wallet, which is basically akin to almost like a PayPal, right? You like log in, you have a keychain, like a password key to get into your wallet. All of them are stored there. There are apps. There's an app called Token Head where it connects to your wallet and you can just have it on your phone and have access to it wherever you want. And there are services now. People make like, digital frames to put on your wall that you can link to your wallet.
So I can actually put this thing on my wall like a piece of art.
Yes, if you end up buying the digital frame to do so. There are also some people are making isolated like standalone frames where the NFT lives in that frame only, and it's like that way you can also hold like a photograph and it lives just in that device. But like all of that stuff's still coming and being developed. So I think as the mass adoption kind of raises, there'll be more and more platforms. But right now it'll be tied to your wallet and then invisible in some sort of different apps.
So like this is gonna like kill large forms of art. Like, why would you paint when you could create this NFT and put it in a frame up on your wall? Like, that's kind of wild to think about, right? So with this NFT stuff, so like, I guess, like, how are people engaging this stuff right now? Like, you can kind of like, how do you sell it? Like, I don't know. What do you do with? I mean, other than like put it up in a frame on the wall, which makes it like, what can you do with these NFTs?
Well, as far as what you can do, like I said, there's kind of the potential is kind of limitless. But right now, a lot of the NFT communities are popping up in Twitter, Discord, and Telegram. I'm most familiar with Discord rather than Telegram, but I know there's extensions in Discord that can check if you have the NFT in your wallet to give you different access to different channels. The way I'm setting up my own is I'm thinking about having like basically like a virtual locker room for everyone that buys a wrestler. Then there'll be like a virtual, fan space for everyone who's just a fan of the project, and then a virtual section for promoters, for the people that are putting together matches, and just like facilitate different communities that are all on board with the project. But like figuring out the utility of them right now is something that's actually kind of like project specific. It's also like how much time can you put into it, and do you want to maximize value just for people that support you.
Sure.
But essentially, though, kind of like worst case scenario is you just buy a bunch of art and tokens that you like, and they sit in your digital wallet, kind of like how I have a closet full of Pokemon cards.
Sure.
And they're all just in boxes, and I don't look at them every day, but I've got a shining Gyarados if I want to take it down and look at it, or trade it if somebody ever wants to trade it. But now it's kind of more, it's like people are just like supporting projects, they buying art they like, buying talent they like, and just supporting it and getting amped on it.
Well, rock and roll, Taylor. Well, this is the Wild West, and it does not shock me one bit that you are on the forefront of it. This seems to be kind of your MO is seeing this kind of technology and jumping on it before a lot of other people. While I have you here,
Yes,
what's the update on you as a wrestling promoter? You want to tell people what you were doing here wrestling-wise before everything went cattywampus with the COVID?
Sure. Yeah, I had a whole show booked, talent, starting travel. It was all being produced by Fight. Before COVID hit, it was supposed to happen in May of 2020 as a fundraiser for the nonprofit that I was on the board of directors for, called the Fiopera Alliance. And they support rare tumors, rare cancers, of which I also happen to be a patient of. And it was all a fundraising effort. We had like Tommy Dreamer, Al Snow, Warhorse, Laney Luck, GPA, Effie. It was going to be a pretty awesome card. I was really jacked up about it, and then COVID made it all cattywampus. I got hit up. It was supposed to be in DC. Actually, the DC Combat Sports Commissioner hit me up and asked if we were going to run anytime soon. I'm still going to wait and just see kind of where everything lands with the world for it to mellow out a little bit. I would love to, if 8-Bit Slammers catches fire, and with working with Solar, Black Taurus, Psychosis, and other wrestlers I'm connecting with for future series, I would love to. I'm thinking, I'm putting it out in the universe, like WrestleCon 2023, 2024, maybe run an 8-Bit Slammers show. I think that'd be really cool. And then, the tickets could all come with promo, redeemable NFTs, and people could, the potential's limitless. But that's my next venture, I think.
See, that's the way to get them through the door, Taylor. If you give me an NFT and I can engage it and I can figure out where it goes and what I do with it, I think then I would be through the door. But I kind of feel like I need to get pushed through the door with this NFT thing. This has done a lot to clarify. It's just it's a kind of wild concept, I think, for a lot of people. Digital art that you own. What a world. What a world. Well, Taylor, I want to thank you so much for coming on today, enlightening us about the world of NFTs, what you're doing with Master Republic. When can people, or where can people go bid, buy? How does this work with the NFTs? What's going on here?
You can follow 8-Bit Slammers on Twitter and Instagram. That's kind of where the hottest news comes first. But I'm going to direct everyone to 8bitslammers.com, and that's where I'll have a link once the purchases are live, rather than convoluted marketplace information. There'll be one link you can click there. On September 9th, there will be an auction running for 24 hours, and you can snag as many as you like, depending on the interest. And then sit tuned for the following month when we'll drop the pack of matches, which is going to be really cool. So 8-Bit Slammers is where it's at.